Democracy is a tool to solve real-world problems and make change that positively impacts billions of lives. This is how change happened through democracy in Nigeria to better protect women from violence.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, such that we have a lot of complaints, a lot of cases of gender-based violence, almost on a daily basis. We receive reports of sexual and gender-based violence in the state.
Existing laws and policies discriminated against women and girls and people with disabilities.
When you're talking of gender-based violence in Ondo States, I would say that so many women have gone through, at least in Ondo State, we would say 4 out of 10 women have gone through what we call gender-based violence. You want to talk about psychological violence, you want to talk about emotional violence, you want to talk about financial or economical violence. All these things affect women on a daily basis.
And so even those of us that were responders, we couldn't really help because we were not too equipped. We were not, we didn't have the prerequisites and adequate information to work with. So at that time, we had only the Child's Right Law, we had the Violence Against Women's Law, and this law had their limitations.
So in 2020, decision makers, community leaders, and civil society organizations worked together to put a national law in place in Nigerian states.
You would recall that at that time where we all worked together as NGOs, as CBOs, media, lawmakers, everyone came together to say, look, that law must see the light of day.
The partners, the BFD and other partners towards passage of the VAP law, which was eventually passed in year 2021 and signed into law in July 2021 by the Governor of Ondo State, Arakure.
WFD kicked off the first ever national research into the implementation of the Act. Armed with information, legislators, activists, and government agencies made improvements to ensure the law was working as it should in Oyo and Ondo States.
The intervention was from cradle, to like adulthood, from when we were making the law, baking it, putting it together, to when it was actually christened. And now that we started using the law also, they are there, to from time to time help sensitize, the major stakeholders in ensuring that the law gets to the nook and cranny of the society and that it is used by those that are supposed to use them.
In other states, governors' wives worked with WFD to ensure that the law was passed. With the law firmly in place, people needed to understand their rights in order to utilize its power.
It's been identified that there are some basic gaps in implementation and enforcement. I think one of it is that quite a lot of people are yet to be aware of the VAP law and the operation in the state. And also today it was identified strongly that there is need for a gender-based violence specified court and trained magistrate judge, so that this would fast-track the prosecution of cases relating to gender.
An inclusive campaign raised awareness about new legal protections under the law. Braille versions of important documents were published to make sure no one was left out.
About people with disabilities. The Violence Against Persons Prohibition law does not exclude them. It includes those people that are living with disabilities. In fact, they are happy, with the coming into force of the WFD and them inventing the built version of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition law. All these people now know that their rights are actually, but this is the first of its kind in Ondo States. We already have laws, but when all these people, they always feel marginalized when you don't have people to explain or to interpret this law today. Now they have these laws in their own language.
Magistrates and prosecutors built their understanding of the law.
Although the law was passed in 2021, but it was not really circulated even among magistrates, even among the magistrates and lawyers in Ondo State. But during the course of the seminars and workshops set up by the WFD, the law were distributed. It was shared among lawyers, among participants, among magistrates.
The impact of the new law was transformative.
And today, as we speak, the Violence Against Persons Prohibition law has been very efficient, effective, and of course, is giving us and paving way for us in Ondo State.
The culture of silence, let me say that it's been broken because we have a lot of people now coming forward, to lodge their complaint. One major change is that, one, reporting of GBV cases has increased. Then two, people are now aware of how to prevent it. Prevention is now very important. People are now aware of how to prevent GBV in the States.
Responders were able to put measures in place to support the callers and help them get justice.
Now you know that your rights are being guaranteed. Nobody can take those rights from you because now you know that those rights are actionable.
Democracy can solve the problems that matter to people, but it does not thrive on its own. Support democracy, support change.